Hey everybody, I'm going to go ahead and try to go live now. I'm going to see if this is on my page. Trivia tonight here at, I'm at Graceworks Church, but this is Michael Prettyman's Facebook page. So let's see here. So I'm waiting to see if anybody else is out there. I just went live. I see one person has joined at least. Let me go to my page here and share this. Hey Martha! I'm looking for my share button so I can share this to the Graceworks Church Facebook page. Trivia tonight. Let's see here. Jeff, all right. Share to, let's see here. Share to a page. Where's that button? There. Oh no, share to a group. Whatever. More options. I always run into this. I mean, sometimes it gives me the option and sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, on your page, so I'm going to share this to the Graceworks Church Facebook page and share. There we go. I just shared it to the Graceworks Church Facebook page. And we're doing trivia. I'm eating here. Oh, and Jeff shared it. Thank you, Jeff. Anybody else want to share it? Please. Please share it. I'm going to do a few other things here while I'm getting ready, while people are joining. And we're doing trivia tonight, 6:30 p.m. every Monday night. I've been pretty consistent about doing the Facebook. Let's see here. I'm trying to get this back to where it's supposed to be. There we go. Got it. Boom. Martha Faye is watching. Who else is watching? Hit that share button. The Chip Liner. Hey, Michael David Prettyman. Hey, Chip. Missed you today, man. I know you couldn't be there, but we had a good time over at Creekside today. The residents they seemed very happy to see me. Someone asked about you over there. It was really good, Chip. I mean, we had a great time. We started our Love Month set singing over there because it is the month of love, February. By the way, pecans. Thanks, Mom. I know my mom will probably join at some point, but my mom gave me some pecans here. That is my choice snack of the night. I love pecans. And I have some sweet tea too. All right, it's about time to get started here with the trivia. I've done a lot of music today. Hey, Louise. There we go. Wash down some of the pecans. So the trivia tonight is significant numbers in the Bible. Significant numbers in the Bible. I probably could have asked 100 questions here, but I kept it to about 11 with a bonus. And then Bill gave me a couple of extra ones to throw in here just for fun. And Chip, you know what, Chip? No, that may be an answer for something in there. I was going to say I may not have one with the number. I'll have to, there's some numbers that are missing. I mean, they're all over the place. So significant numbers in the Bible, hit the share button. And here we go. Where do we start? We start at the beginning. How many days were in the Genesis account of creation? Question number 1. How many days were in the Genesis account of creation? Does anybody have an answer for that one? Chip didn't just answer 5, by the way. Chip was being kind of just funny with that one. But Chip did answer 6 on that one. Does anybody else dispute that? How many days were in the Genesis account of creation? Louise says 7. Anybody else? Anyone else? Martha Faye says 6. Louise says 6. Anyone else? Hit that share button, guys, by the way, right now. Jeff says 6. And if you guys said 6, technically that is the correct answer because God did create the earth in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. So how many days were in the Genesis account of creation? There were 6. 7th being the day of rest. So question number 2, significant numbers in the Bible. How many plagues were there when Pharaoh would not let the people of Israel go? So how many plagues were there when the Pharaoh would not let the people of Israel go. If you remember, Moses kept going to him and saying, "Let my people go." And he would say, "Okay," and then he wouldn't do it, and then God would send a plague. Do you remember how many plagues there were that they... Chip says 10. Anybody else? By the way, I have pecans. Thanks, Mom, if you end up watching this later on. Thank you for the pecans here. That is my snack for the night. Of course, I had Mexican for dinner, so... and I've got some sweet tea. Chip says 10 plagues. Anybody else have a guess at how many plagues there were? Whenever Moses was saying, "Let my people go." And I think I saw my mom pop up there for a second. Just in case, Mom. Yeah, there you are, Mom. I'm eating your pecans. Thank you for the pecans. They're my snack tonight. Martha Faye says 10 plagues. We're doing significant numbers in the Bible. So significant numbers in the Bible. I feel like I'm at one of these carnivals where I'm like, guess how many pecans are in this bag? And whoever wins the bag of pecans. I have no idea, by the way. So significant numbers in the Bible, Mom. The first question was how many days were in the creation account, which was 6. Seventh day God rested. Question number 2 is how many plagues were there when Pharaoh would not let the people of Israel go? And the answer is 10. And that's what everybody has been saying. So 10, catching you up there. And question number 3, which I haven't asked yet, is how many Israelite spies went to spy on Canaan? How many Israelite spies went to spy on Canaan? I used to sing a little song, and I'm going to sing it here in a second, whenever I was a little kid. Yes, Chip, do you know how the song went? 12 men went to spy on Canaan. Does anybody know how it goes? 12 men went to spy on Canaan. I'll finish it in a second. I want to see if anybody can answer that. That was the song. 12 men went to spy on Canaan. Mom says 12. Do you know the song, Chip? Martha Faye says 12. Jeff says 12. Hello, Tanya. Louise says 12. Anybody else? Louise says 12. So the song went like this. Mom, I don't know if you remember this song, but it went, 12 men went to spy on Canaan. 10 were bad and 2 were good. What do you think they saw in Canaan? 10 were bad and 2 were good. Some saw giants big and strong. Some saw grapes with... There you go, Mom. Mom's got it. Some saw grapes with clusters long. Some saw God was in it all, but 10 were bad and 2 were good. That was a little song we used to sing when I was younger. So anyway, maybe it's coming back to you, but we'll see. So that was question number 3. How many Israelite spies went to spy on Canaan? 12. Question number 4, significant numbers in the Bible. Hit the share button, guys. I know that Jeff has shared this. I'm hoping the rest of you guys have shared it. I just happened to see that notification come in a second ago, or a little while ago. Question number 4 on significant numbers in the Bible is, how many Israelite tribes are there? How many Israelite tribes are there? Do you know? There are how many Israelite tribes? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Oh, it looks like 3 people have shared so far. Chip says 12. Tanya says 12. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? 12. Louise says 12. Tanya says 12. Martha Faye says 12. Anybody else? Well, you guys are correct. It was 12. There are 12 tribes. How many Israelite tribes are there? There are 12. You guys are correct. So we had 2 questions in a row that the answer was 12. How many Israelite spies went to spy on Canaan? 12. How many Israelite tribes are there? 12. Question number 5. How many stones did David take to fight Goliath? You guys need to fact check me on all this stuff, by the way. Especially this one, you need to fact check me. Because I was doing this one kind of off memory. You know what? I used to know, I think, a 12 Tribes song, but I don't remember it anymore. How many stones did David take to fight Goliath? Y'all will have to fact check me on this one because I'm not sure if I have the right answer because I did this one off the top of my head. I don't know if you're saying 3 on that one, Chip. Chip says 3. Anybody got a guess? You can just guess on how many stones he took. Louise says 3. Anybody? Anybody? How many stones did David take to fight Goliath? Anybody? I have, Martha Faye says 3, Chip says 5. Chip says 5. And the correct answer is, Philip Lehman says 5. The correct answer is 5. You guys are correct. How many stones did David take to fight Goliath? 5. Good to see you, Philip. Jeff says 5. It just took 1 to kill him, but I think 3. Dad said 5. Dad's right, Mom. He took 5. So, and there are theories why he took 5 stones, but I'll let you look up those theories. Question number 6, hit the share button if you haven't shared it already. Bible trivia, significant numbers in the Bible. How many times, this is question number 6, how many times did Peter deny Jesus? How many times did Peter deny Jesus? And, of course, this was on the night that Jesus was arrested, I'm asking. Yeah, Mom, some answers get there later than others. Chip says 3. How many times did Peter deny Jesus? Tasha says 3. Martha Faye says 3. Louise says 3. Jeff says 3. Lacey says 3. Philip says 3. And the answer is 3. How many times did Peter deny Jesus? Thrice. Mom's going with the King James on us. She's bringing out the King James, baby. 3. So, yes, it was 3 times that Peter denied Jesus. Significant numbers in the Bible. Hit the share button once again on question number 7. How many days, here's question number 7, I haven't asked it yet. How many days and nights did it rain in the Noahic flood? How many days and nights did it rain in the Noahic flood? I know some water came from the ground and other things like that, but we'll just go with how many times did it rain, how many days and nights did it rain during the Noahic flood? Anybody? Chip says 40 days and nights. Anybody else with a guess of how many days and nights it rained during the Noahic flood? Tasha says 40. Lacey says 40. Louise says 40. Martha Faye says 40. Jeff says 40. I think the answer is 40. Pat says 40. So there we go. 40 days and 40 nights it rained during the Noahic flood. Let's see. Sorry, I was reading some of the other comments there. Mom says 40. All right. Question number 8. Question number 8 and significant numbers in the Bible. Please hit the share button again if you have not hit the share button yet, so others can watch this now and later on. So question number, where did I say I was on? Okay. Question number 8. How many lepers did Jesus heal at one time? Okay. There was one time that Jesus healed a bunch of lepers all at one time. How many lepers was that? And hey, if you want to be a little, like a brainiac or a mom says 10. How many of those lepers came back and thanked him? Chip says 10. Pat says 10. How many of the lepers came back and thanked him? And so you guys are correct. Everybody who's dropping the 10 number there, it was 10 lepers that he healed at one time. Jeff, yes, it is 10. Does anybody know how many of those lepers came back and thanked him? Tasha says 10. Mom says 1 of the 10 lepers came back. Chip says 1 of the 10 lepers came back and thanked him. Louise says 1. So you guys know it. You guys got your stuff right. Pat, Martha, yep. 1 of the lepers came back and thanked him. Tasha says 1. So there you go. Let's see here. Question number 9, significant numbers in the Bible. Question number 9, How many days was Jesus in the wilderness fasting when Satan was tempting him? How many days was Jesus in the wilderness fasting when Satan was tempting him? Does anybody know the answer to that? How many days was Jesus in the wilderness fasting when Satan was tempting him? Anybody know the answer? Chip says 40 days. Martha says 30 days. Anybody else? Mom says 40 days. Pat says 40 days. Lacey says 40 days. Louise says 40 days. Martha says 40. And I know there's some people are probably still answering, and you guys are correct. If you said 40 days, Jesus was in the wilderness when he was fasting and being tempted by Satan himself. Significant numbers in the Bible. This is question number 10. Question number 10, significant numbers in the Bible. In one of the stories, when Jesus fed a multitude, he performed a miracle by feeding a crowd of at least 5,000 using just a boy's lunch. The lunch had 2 recorded items in it, okay? Loaves of bread and fish. How many of each item did it have? So how many loaves of bread did it have, and how many fish did it have? So, in one of the stories, when Jesus fed the multitude, he performed a miracle, feeding a crowd of at least 5,000 people using a boy's lunch. The lunch had 2 recorded items in it, loaves of bread and fish. How many of each item did it have? So how many loaves of bread and how many fish? Does anybody know? Pat says 5. Chip says 5 and 3. Jeff says 2. Some of those numbers are correct. Mom says 5 and 3. Now you guys need to fact check me on this, okay? Lacey says 3 loaves, 7 fish. Bill Owens is watching. 3 fish, 7 loaves is what Louise says. Hey, Bill, whenever Jesus fed the 5,000, he used a kid's lunch. How many loaves of bread were there, and how many fish were there? Martha Faye says 5 bread, 3 fish. What do you say, Bill? Hello, Christy. Does anybody... So the consensus right now, Chip says maybe 5 and 2. I bet Bill knows the answer. The answer is 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Fact check me on that. By the way, there were two recorded feedings of a multitude in the Bible, and Bill said I'm putting him on the spot. But 5 loaves and 2 fish. There are 2 recorded feedings of multitudes in the Bible, and one of them, when they used the boy's lunch, it was 5 loaves and 2 fish, I believe. Double check me on that. Fact check me on that. The other time, I think it says what was used to feed the crowd, but I forget what it was. So you have to look that one up. So that was question number 10. I have question 11 and a bonus, and then I have a couple of Bill questions for you. So here's the question 11, and then I'll give you my bonus, and then Bill threw a couple of questions at me. Okay, question 11. How many days was Jesus in the tomb before he conquered death? How many days was Jesus in the tomb before he conquered death? Hello, Pat Vaughn. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. I spent a lot of time with Pat today, so I'm being funny. We did some music together. We did some recording together. We ran over some other stuff together. We worked with a couple other people. Chip said that Jesus was in the tomb 3 days. Does anybody agree Does anybody agree with Chip on that? Louise says 3. Bill says 2. I'm not sure Bill's answering the 2 fish. I did tell Bill to throw some answers out there to confuse people. If you didn't see yesterday's 10:30 service, whenever Bill got up to preach, first of all, you need to go watch the sermon anyway. Oh, rose on the 3rd day, Martha Faye says. So Lacey says 3. You need to go back on the, Mom says he rose on the 3rd day. Pat just got home because we went out to eat after we sang. But you need to go back and watch the 10:30 a.m. service from yesterday when he first started it. Man, he was hilarious. It was very funny. And then the sermon was good too, but that was cracked me up. Bill says the day begins at sunset. So he's saying 2 days in the tomb. Look, Bill's going all like using that doctorate degree. So telling us how the Hebrew calendar or whatever, I don't know, worked and all that type of stuff. So anyway, my answer was that he was in the tomb for 3 days, but it may be that he was in the tomb 2 days and then rose on the third day. So that's it. So that was a trick question for me. I may have it wrong. I said 3 days. So we'll have to go. I'll have to go with the doctor's thing here. 2 days in the tomb, rose on the third day. So if you said 2 or 3, I accept your answer. But so anyway, that was question number 11. Here's my bonus. Here's my bonus here, and then I'll give you the Bill questions that he gave me. So Peter went to Jesus and asked him how many times he should forgive someone. And then he said, should I forgive him 7 times? What was Jesus' answer? By the way, Jesus' answer was not to forgive them 7 times. Peter went to Jesus. He told him to forgive. He just told him a different number. Peter went to Jesus and asked him how many times he should forgive someone. And Peter said, should I forgive him 7 times? Well, Jesus said, no, not 7 times, but this many times. Does anybody know that answer? By the way, Mom, thanks again for the pecans. Tasha says 70 times 7. Chip says 70 times 7. I'm eating pecans. Hey, that's, you know what, Pat? That's what he was getting at. Pat says always. Louise says 7 times 70. Yeah, 70 times 7. And what Pat said, Martha Faye says 70 times 7. But what Pat said is correct in that he was saying, you forgive them all the time. 70 times 7, Pat says, Mom, I almost said Catherine. Mom says 70 times 7. Christy says 70 times 7. Lacey says 70 times 7. You guys are correct. And I will say that I'm with Pat that I think Jesus was just saying, look, 70 times 7. Forgive them all the time, you know. So anyway, there's your answer. 70 times 7 is how many times we are, he told Peter to forgive. Now, let's go to Bill's questions. Bill gave me 2 questions. I said, hey, Bill, throw a couple of questions at me. And normally Bill's questions are super, super hard. We'd be here all night just trying to figure out the answer to one of them. But he dumbed it down for me. You know, he knows I need it dumbed down a little bit. So this was a good question I thought Bill asked. He said, what is the most well-known number in the Bible? Now, when we say that, he's asking, in other words, we as Christians know, you know, all these 3 days, Jesus was in the tomb, 40 days was the flood. But you think about atheists, people who aren't Christians, people who've never cracked a Bible before, conspiracy theorists, everything else. They know this number came from the Bible, and they use it all the time. What number do you think that is? I'll give you a hint. It's a 3-digit number. It's the most popular number. It's probably the most popular number that people know came from the Bible. Pat says 12. Of course, she's probably hearing me now, that it's a 3-digit number. Tasha says 666. So when you think about it, Chip says 666. Louise says 666. And you guys are rolling in with the right number. Christy says 666. When you think about it, a lot of people may not read the Bible, but they watch a lot of sci-fi and everything else. Pat says 666. Pat says 666. Martha Faye, 666. You are correct. I mean, anywhere people know. That's a good one, Bill. Bill said maybe followed by 316. That's a good one. John 316. So, but a lot of people know that. Mom says I can't even. Lacey says Mom says I can't even write that number. There you go, Lacey. Good job. So, yes, but that's probably the most commonly known number, like that people know from the Bible, even if they've never cracked up in a Bible because they're watching a sci-fi movie or a horror movie or something like that. So, okay, Bill gave me one more question to ask, and we'll finish up with this one. Naaman. Naaman was a military commander who had leprosy, a Bible person. How many times did the prophet Elisha tell Naaman to dip in the Jordan River to be cured? So Naaman was a military commander who had leprosy. How many times did the prophet Elisha tell Naaman to dip in the Jordan River to be cured? You can find the answer, by the way, in 2 Kings 5, but why don't you just take a guess? Chip says 7. Louise says 7. Tasha says 2. You like how I threw that question mark in there, Tasha? Tasha says joke, 7. Martha Faye says 7. Pat says 1. Well, the answer is, and you know, one thing about the number 7, Pat says 7. The one thing about the number 7 is I think, and Bill would be able to tell you this more than me, I think 7 is the number of completion. I think that's the definition that goes with it anyway. So it was 7 times. Naaman was military commander. He had leprosy, and Elisha told him to, Vince says 7. There you go. If Vince says it, then it must be. So Prophet Elisha, he told Naaman to dip in the Jordan River to be cured. How many times did he tell him to dip in there? And the answer is 7. So you guys are correct. There you go. You got it. Thank you, Bill, for the bonus questions there. And thank you all for joining tonight on trivia. Let me remind you to join us at Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. We've been very good and consistent about doing 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. Facebook Live on Graceworks Church page, Graceworks Church Facebook page, and we call it a moment with the pastor. It's just a moment with the pastor there at 11:30 a.m. kind of in the midweek. So we've been pretty faithful about doing that. So if you guys would tune in 11:30 a.m. I'm not sure if it's Bill or Tony that's doing that. I think it might be Bill who's doing this Wednesday. So anyway, look forward to seeing you there, and also next Sunday morning, of course, looking forward to seeing you guys. And I'm going to have a word of prayer here, and we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you all for joining tonight and helping with significant numbers in the Bible. And let's have a word of prayer. God, I thank you that we can come here tonight and once again just kind of dive into your word and just remember some things maybe that we learned when we were younger and just refreshing our memories. So God, I thank you that we can do that. And God, I pray that you're pleased and you're honored and you're glorified and lifted up as we just kind of dig in and remember these things. So, but I speak on behalf of all of us, God, when I tell you, God, that we love you. God, we thank you for the gift of salvation that we have through Jesus Christ. We love you. It's in Jesus' name we pray all these things. Amen. And thank you, Louise, and I will enjoy the pecans and tea. And so you guys have a good night. It's not too late to hit the share button. If you share it now, it will go out and be on your page, and people can watch it later on. So thanks, Chip. So you guys take care. And if any of you guys have any good trivia topics, feel free to text me or something sometime. And Chip even wrote one of the trivias one time. So, but anyway, I will talk to you guys later on. Take care. See ya. Bye.